I am Kayla Ampil.
I am Christina Cruz.
I am Faith Cuevas.
And I am Mark James de la Peña, and we are from G2A.
In this video, we are going to talk about a current issue in sustainable tourism.
Specifically over tourism
In Amsterdam.
Hey, did you hear about the European city that's making headlines?
Yeah, I was shocked at first, but how direct it was.
No, which city is it?
Secret. No, it's Amsterdam.
Oh.
Amsterdam? That's a shame. I heard it was a beautiful place, but apparently not.
No, you misunderstood. Amsterdam is a beautiful city. That's why the local government is taking measures to no longer welcome nuisance tourists.
Can a government even legally do that?
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, won't that harm their tourism sector?
The city officials say it's necessary to keep the city livable.
Livable is a strong word, don't you think?
Right.
I mean, how much harm can tourists even do?
And they don't even live there.
Yeah.
Tourists can make or break a tourist destination, not just economically, but also quite literally. Ever since commercial flights became more accessible, tourists' etiquette has worsened.
Now that I think about it, I once read an article that went along the line 20 places around the world that being ruined by tourists.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. The pictures in the article were horrifying. And I'm not even an avid tourist enthusiast.
Anyways, about Amsterdam, is the new policy really motivated?
Not exactly. The discouragement campaign wants to keep out visitors who come to the city, principally for drinks, for drugs, and for sex.
With that being said, according to the statistics and general surveys, a majority of those visitors are British tourists who are considered some of the worst behaved visitors to the Dutch city.
Let us see.
Look at it, look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Their rowdy behavior is not only making locals uncomfortable, but it also has long-term effects on the city's environment.
That makes sense. After all, Amsterdam is a world city and liveliness comes along with this, but to keep their city livable, they need to choose limits instead of irresponsible growth.
That's right.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Amsterdam's new policy is a great example of sustainable tourism. With that being said, travel and tourism play a significant role in developing our global culture because they make it possible for us to discover new parts of the world, interact with people from various backgrounds, and participate in a range of unique customs and activities.
As a result of the many positive effects it has on communities and tourists, it is generally considered a force for peace in the world.
Sustainable tourism is a type of tourism that has a greater number of positive impacts than negative impacts, particularly in relation to the environment, the economy, and the communities or destinations that are visited.
Tourism that is truly sustainable and responsible ought to improve the quality of life in the host country or community, as well as the lives of the residents.
In addition, when most people think of sustainable tourism, the first thing that comes to their mind is how the industry affects the natural environment. But in addition to that, it takes into account the current and future economic, social, and environmental impact that its action will have.
There is a lot that needs to be taken into consideration in order to have tourism that is fully sustainable. Some of these things include laws and regulations, local people, and the demand that comes from the tourists.
Because of this, it is essential to consider sustainable tourism not only from the viewpoint of the tourism provider, but also from that of the individual tourist.
There are many ways to ensure that you are a sustainable tourist and that you provide tourism that is sustainable within your area. Many of these ways are two sides of the same coin.
For instance, an individual tourist might take into consideration participating in slow travel movement and opt for modes of transportation that are friendlier to the environment, while tourism businesses might encourage such behaviors.
The same thing can be said about garbage and the decisions that are made concerning it. The tourism industry can choose to use locally purified water and provide more organic and recyclable options for visitors, and tourists can help make tourism more sustainable by selecting organic options when shopping and reducing the amount of plastic they buy.
By purchasing souvenirs from locals, the culture, heritage, and economy are supported by both sides of the tourism industry. That is another important aspect to ensure sustainable tourism where making a contribution to the local economy is a key component.
Making a commitment to sustainable tourism can result in a number of local benefits, the most important of which are the following: assisting the environment in its creation, providing economic advantages for the destination, and generating employment to the local residents.
With all, the creation of a sustainable tourism in the industry also has the advantage of the creation of a mobility industry that is sustainable, which means that the activities can continue and are more future-proof.
And that's all for today's video.
I hope you learned something from our group.
That you can apply in attaining sustainable tourism
In your host community.
Throughout the world.
See you next time!